Hey everyone, and welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into the Cetus Protocol.
Okay.
It's a decentralized exchange built on the Sui and Aptos blockchains.
Right.
We want to know how Cetus works, what makes it stand out, and are there any potential benefits
Yeah.
for traders? Luckily, we've got a great article from Binance Academy. It's
Mhm.
called "What is the Cetus Protocol?" CETI.
I've seen that one.
Have you?
Yeah. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so let's jump right in.
Sounds good.
So Cetus, it's tackling some of the biggest challenges that we see in the DX space.
Definitely.
Like speed and efficiency.
Yeah, those are big ones.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It seems like they're really aiming to streamline the trading experience.
Exactly. And you know what's really fascinating about Cetus is that it's built on Sui and Aptos,
Oh, wow.
which are known for their speed and efficiency. So
Yeah.
that's going to translate into, near instant trades
Yeah.
and much lower fees.
And that's something that I think a lot of traders are going to be excited about. Yeah, absolutely. So we both kind of know the basics of directs. But what is it that actually makes Cetus stand out from the crowd?
Well, think about this. Sui and Aptos, they're like the Ferraris of blockchains, known for their speed and their efficiency.
Okay.
And this means near instant trades and significantly lower fees.
Yeah, I can definitely appreciate that.
Two things you'll appreciate.
Yeah, for sure. So the article also mentioned a bunch of different features,
Yeah.
like permissionless, programmable. But what really caught my eye was this liquidity as a service.
Oh, yeah, that's a cool one.
What is that all about?
It's pretty cool, actually. So developers can tap into Cetus's liquidity pool and use it to power their own applications.
Wow.
So imagine you could have a DeFi app that leverages Cetus's liquidity to offer really unique financial tools.
That's pretty amazing.
Possibilities are huge.
So it's like Cetus is kind of like a building block
Yeah.
for this whole DeFi ecosystem. I'm getting the sense that Cetus is about a lot more than just trading. Another key aspect that might interest you is the concentrated liquidity market maker, or CLMM.
Okay, so CLMM. It's all about focusing liquidity.
Right.
But can you give me an example of how that works?
Sure. Let's say you think a certain token will trade between $10 and $15 in the near future.
Okay.
With Cetus's CLMM, you can concentrate your liquidity within that price range.
Okay.
So if your prediction is right, you could earn much higher returns than spreading your liquidity across the entire price spectrum.
So instead of my assets just sitting there,
Yeah.
I can strategically position them
Yeah.
where the action is. That makes sense. But what if the price goes outside of my range?
That's a good question. If the price moves outside your range, your liquidity won't be used, and you'll miss out on potential earnings.
Okay.
So there's definitely a level of risk involved.
Right.
It highlights the importance of research and strategy.
So it's not a set it and forget it type of thing.
Right.
Got to stay informed, got to be ready to adjust the strategy.
Sure, yeah.
But for those willing to put in the work, the potential rewards can be significant.
For sure.
And remember, Cetus is built on Sui and Aptos,
Right.
so you won't be bogged down by slow transactions or outrageous gas fees.
Right. Those were definitely pain points. In the early days of DeFi,
I know what you mean.
I remember waiting like an eternity for transactions to go through.
Cetus is aiming to change that. They want to create a platform that's fast, reliable, and user-friendly,
That makes sense.
even for those new to DeFi.
Yeah, absolutely. So it seems like they've really thought things through. But what about the tokenomics?
Ah, yes, the tokens.
The article mentioned two tokens, Cetus and xCETUS.
That's right.
Can you break that down for me?
Cetus uses a double token system to encourage participation and long-term growth. Cetus is the main utility token.
Okay.
It's used for things like paying transaction fees and, most importantly, participating in governance.
So if I want to have a say in the future of Cetus, I need to hold Cetus.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's where xCETUS comes in.
Yeah.
It's a staking token. So when you stake your CETUS, you receive xCETUS, which gives you voting power.
Interesting.
The more xCETUS you have, the bigger your influence.
I like that.
It's a cool way to incentivize people to be active in the community.
Yeah, it really embodies that whole spirit of decentralization,
It really does.
putting the power in the hands of the users.
That's the goal.
It's amazing how they've combined all these features
Yeah.
into one platform.
It definitely sets them apart.
Yeah.
It'll be fascinating to see how they navigate the challenges and the opportunities.
Yeah. Speaking of challenges, that brings us to the end of part one
Yeah.
of our deep dive into the Cetus Protocol. We'll be back with part two. where we'll explore those hurdles and the potential impact of CETUS on the future of DeFi.
Picking up where we left off, I think this whole move toward concentrated liquidity, it's a game changer. It's like going from dial-up to broadband, a giant leap in efficiency.
It really does seem like they found a way to give users a lot more control over how they're providing liquidity.
For sure.
I mean, you can actually strategize, do your research, and try to optimize your earnings.
It's a system that appeals to both casual investors and seasoned traders. But what I find really interesting is how CETUS is also trying to bridge that gap between ease of use and the complexities of DeFi.
That's a great point. When I first discovered decentralized exchanges, I was so excited.
Yeah.
Cut out the middleman. More transparency, more control. But to be honest, the first few DEXs I tried were clunky.
Yeah.
They were.
I think a lot of people had that experience. Early DEXs were definitely rough around the edges.
So with CETUS choosing to build on Sui and Aptos, blockchains that are known for their speed and scalability, that seems like a major step forward.
Absolutely. Remember the early days of DeFi when transactions could take forever and gas fees were outrageous?
Don't remind me. I think I aged a few years waiting for those transactions to go through.
Well, CETUS is trying to avoid those issues. They want to create a platform that's fast, reliable, and cost-effective.
Which makes sense. If they're aiming for mainstream adoption.
Exactly.
Right, because if we want DeFi to truly take off, it needs to be accessible to everyone.
Couldn't agree more. It's like the early days of the internet. It wasn't until things became user-friendly that mass adoption really took hold.
Yeah, and that's what's so fascinating about CETUS. They're building on the foundations of decentralization.
Yeah.
But they're also trying to create a user experience that rivals centralized platforms.
I got it.
And they're approaching it from all angles, the technology, the user interface, and even those unique features, like liquidity mining with NFTs.
Like they're creating a whole ecosystem.
And that ecosystem is built on two of the most promising blockchains in this space.
Yeah, that's right.
Sui and Aptos.
Two blockchains known for their speed security and scalability.
It really speaks volumes about their ambitions.
For sure.
What about the risks? Because every investment comes with risks. What are some of the things that could go wrong with CETUS?
That's a crucial question. And honestly, there are a few things to consider. One challenge that immediately comes to mind is security. Decentralized platforms are often seen as more secure than their centralized counterparts.
Yes.
Because there's no single point of failure.
Right.
But that doesn't mean they're immune to attacks.
So it's not just about the technology itself. It's also about ensuring that the code is solid and the platform has been audited
Precisely.
to prevent any vulnerabilities.
And then there's the challenge of regulation. The DeFi space is still largely unregulated.
Yeah.
Which can be both a blessing and a curse.
It definitely allows for rapid innovation, but like you said, it also creates uncertainty and potential risks.
Exactly how those regulations take shape could significantly impact platforms like CETUS.
Okay.
Another potential hurdle is adoption. We've talked about user-friendliness, but there's still a learning curve when it comes to using DeFi platforms.
It's definitely not as simple as opening a traditional brokerage account.
Nope.
There's a whole new world of concepts and technology to understand.
And that can be a barrier for some people, especially those who are new to crypto.
But challenges often lead to innovation. And I'm really curious to see how CETUS and other DeFi platforms address these hurdles and continue to evolve.
You know what I find particularly exciting is that the solutions to some of these challenges might come from the community itself.
Oh, wow.
The open and collaborative nature of DeFi allows for rapid experimentation and the development of new tools and technologies.
So it's not just about a single company.
Right.
Or team driving innovation. It's about a whole ecosystem of developers and users working together to shape the future.
Absolutely.
That's what makes it so dynamic and so full of potential.
I agree.
We've covered a lot of ground today, from the unique features of CETUS to the challenges and the opportunities. I'm feeling pretty optimistic. I think CETUS has what it takes to make a real impact.
I'm inclined to agree. It'll be fascinating to see how they develop.
Yeah.
And navigate this ever-evolving landscape.
And for you listening, I hope this deep dive has been valuable. But before we wrap things up, we have one more question.
Hit me with it.
Could this be the future of trading? We'll tackle that head on in part 3 of our deep dive.
Can't wait.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We're wrapping up our exploration of the Cetus Protocol, and I think it's safe to say this has been a fascinating journey.
It really has.
We've covered a lot of ground, from the tech behind it to the unique features that set CETUS apart. But like with any new platform, there are always challenges ahead.
Right. Challenges are just opportunities in disguise, right?
Absolutely. So let's dive into that big question from part 2.
Okay. Two.
Could a platform like Cetus, with its innovative features and focus on user experience, actually become the future of trading?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
I think the potential is definitely there. I mean, just look at how quickly DeFi has exploded in the past few years. Platforms like Cetus are really pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
And they're not just trying to copy traditional finance. They're really building something new, leveraging blockchain technology to create a whole new way of trading.
Exactly. It's about empowerment, giving users more control over their assets, more transparency, and a much more efficient system overall.
Right. We've talked about the advantages. Faster transactions, lower fees, all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Features that could really revolutionize how we think about trading and finance in general.
But one thing that keeps coming to mind is the learning curve.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
For someone used to traditional brokerage accounts, jumping into DeFi can be overwhelming. It's like learning a whole new language.
You're not wrong. There's definitely a knowledge gap that needs to be bridged. But you know what? I'm seeing so much effort from the DeFi community to educate and make things more accessible.
Right. And platforms like Cetus are leading the way with their user-friendly design and focus on simplicity. It's almost like they're building a bridge between the old and the new.
Exactly. And once people experience those DeFi benefits firsthand, the speed, the efficiency, I think they'll be hooked.
It reminds me of the early days of the internet. Once people saw its potential, there was no going back.
It's a similar story here. DeFi is still in its early stages, but the possibilities are incredible. It's a game changer.
And Cetus is right there at the forefront.
Absolutely. They're pushing the boundaries, setting a new standard for decentralized trading. It's an exciting time to be in this space.
It really is. So for everyone listening, I hope this deep dive has given you a glimpse into the future of finance and the potential of Cetus Protocol. It's an ever-evolving landscape, so stay curious, keep learning, and who knows, maybe one day we'll look back at these early days and be amazed by how far we've come. Till next time, happy trading.
Sure.